Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something pretty powerful and honestly quite personal. It's an article called Our Lives Don't Matter, A Young Man's Lament.
Yeah, and it's important to say up front, this isn't about taking sides in the usual political back and forth. It's more of a deep dive into the emotional, the existential, even the structural stuff that young men seem to be facing.
Exactly. And the trigger, the thing that sort of sparked this perspective in the article, was the recent escalation between the U.S. and Iran. So our mission here is to unpack this core argument that young men, especially in America, feel disposable, like their struggles get ignored, their voices aren't heard.
And what immediately jumps out is how stark that main idea is. That the system fundamentally sees young men as, well, expendable. The news about attacks on Iran's nuclear sites wasn't just a headline for the author. It felt really personal, highlighting this deeper crisis.
You can almost feel the dread in the writing, can't you? About a potential draft, about questioning why lives should be sacrificed for wars started by, political elites who are far removed from it all.
That's a really key point. The author's warning is blunt. If things escalate, it's not the powerful who will pay. It's the young, broken, tired men like him.
Right. And it's not just about the military draft, though that's maybe the ultimate example of disposability. The article argues that this feeling of being devalued happens across the board in lots of different systems. War is just the final, most brutal expression.
Yeah, connecting it to the bigger picture, the article is really insightful in how it traces this feeling beyond war, like education, for instance. The source describes the school system as, well, pretty rigid, not really set up for how many boys learn, more active, hands-on.
And it suggests that instead of guiding them, the reaction is often like medication or punishment if they don't fit the mold. What's really striking is the author notes this while supporting girls' progress in education. It's like society is okay with boys falling behind, an acceptable loss almost.
And this challenge doesn't stop at school, right? It carries right into the world of work. The article calls job markets soul-crushing and rigged, basically saying that old idea, work hard, get ahead, feels broken for young men today.
It really paints a grim picture, doesn't it? Things like AI, automation, these soulless hiring practices. They make young men feel like, interchangeable parts, just data points.
Yeah, and even if they land a job, there's this sense that security is temporary, fleeting. The feeling is that the traditional path, hard work equals stability, that's just not reliable anymore. It's a huge shift.
Okay, so then there's the dating market aspect the article brings up. It highlights this intense pressure on young men to constantly self-improve physically, emotionally, you name it.
Right, not just wanting to be better, but it's a basic requirement for connection. And the article points to dating apps and modern expectations creating this hyper-selectivity.
Where the sheer volume and maybe the algorithms make it feel dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Like you're discarded based on something superficial really fast.
Exactly. Leaving a lot of guys feeling rejected before they even get a real chance, no matter how much effort they put in.
And the article connects this to cultural narratives too, doesn't it? It mentions the phrase, "I don't need no man." The author's perspective is that while this celebrates female independence, it also kind of signals that men aren't needed, adding to that feeling of disposability. It's definitely a challenging point to consider.
Yeah, it asks us to think about the maybe unintended side effects of cultural shifts. Then you layer on the economic stuff. The article really breaks down the financial hurdles.
Oh, absolutely. You've got inflation, rent going through the roof, crushing student debt. It makes financial independence seem like a distant dream for so many.
And the author throws in this observation, which is pretty pointed, about government spending, this feeling that maybe foreign interests get prioritized over citizens here.
Yeah, that detail about some countries receiving U.S. aid, potentially having better health care or infrastructure than parts of America, that really lands. It highlights this perceived neglect at home.
So according to the article, all these things, education, jobs, dating, economics, they build up, and war becomes like the final betrayal. The piece really criticizes the political class for pulling young people into conflict using what it calls manufactured consent.
Shaping public opinion, basically, to get support for these things. It hammers home that unsettling idea. War is started by the powerful, but paid for by the powerless. Always.
And it uses that term gaslighting, telling young people war is noble, it's necessary. While at the same time, their economic security, their emotional well-being is kind of falling apart back home. It's a harsh contrast.
Definitely. And while the main focus is young men, the article does broaden out a bit, right? It touches on Gen Z's struggle overall.
It does. It lists the unique challenges: financial instability, The pandemic, lockdowns disrupting everything, propaganda, polarization, and this sort of collapsing trust in institutions that this generation grew up with.
So the feeling described is like, despite being told work harder or stop being lazy, they're carrying the weight of fixing a world they didn't break. It's presented not just as complaint, but as a real lament, a cry from a generation feeling let down.
But the author is very clear. This isn't a call for apathy or just giving up. It's a call for vigilance and discernment. The key message seems to be question the narratives you're fed, especially from governments, from media. Protect yourself, protect your community.
And it leaves you, the listener, with this really provocative question to chew on. Is risking your life for a system that never truly valued you the definition of loyalty, or the final step in a long betrayal?
Wow. Yeah, it frames the article as more than just commentary. It's a generational cry for justice, equity, and recognition.
There's that powerful metaphor, too. The world feels like it's burning, and no one's handing us water-only gas cans and flags.
And again, the piece stresses it's not anti-patriotic. It positions itself as anti-deception, advocating for the courage to really question the cost of just blindly following systems that feel broken.
It's definitely a lot to take in, and that's the point, I think. We hope this deep dive gives you something to think about.
Yeah.
What stood out to you? How does this resonate, or maybe not resonate, with your own view of the world?
Keep questioning, keep thinking critically.
That's all for this deep dive.